District police arrested a gang of notorious robbers who were planning to strike at a house in the vicinity. So, do you think there is an error? District police arrested, option A. Arrested whom? A gang of notorious robbers. Option B. Robbers noun, notorious adjective, who were planning to strike at a house in the vicinity. D. So, do you think there is an error? Okay, so let's look at a couple of things that are looming large for us, right? When you say take a strike at something, this is an expression. When you say strike at, basically it means hit. It could also means breaking in, right? In this context, breaking into the house. Where planning, are planning, where do you think the error is? See, for me, a quick look at, yes, in part A, the definite article is missing. That is one error for sure, right? The district police arrested. We're specifically talking about not just any police, the district police. So the specific, the definite article is needed there in option A1. The district police arrested whom? A gang of notorious robbers, seems fine, option B. Who were planning to strike at. So they have been planning. So the planning process started earlier at some point of time in the past, right? Because it's a past continuous form. And they're still planning, which means they probably still have not executed it. Strike at, like we said, in this context is breaking into the house. As long as the meaning of the sentence is intact and it's grammatically correct, who are planning, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to change the tense if the meaning is right. So, the police arrested somebody who was planning to do something. That's the meaning, that's the logical construction, right? See, whenever you have a collective noun, right? Depending on the context, the collective noun can either take up a singular verb or a plural verb, right? So you can either say, in this context, we're talking about each of them, each of those robbers. So when you take up a gang was planning to strike at a house. But sometimes you can also look at it as a member. So for example, you can say, the jury has given its verdict. Here jury is a collective noun and you are using the singular verb form. The jury have taken their seats. So here in this context, again it's a collective noun but you're using the plural form. Why? Because here you're talking about each person in that jury has taken their respective seats. So it's very subjective. So you can either say the gang who was planning or the gang of notorious robbers who were planning to strike. So in the context, it will be fine. So I would ideally go with just part A being the error, where I have to add a definite article. So it's very subjective when it comes to collective nouns depending on what the context is conveying. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Households across the state are either opting for option A more modest lifestyle, or compromising on option B, the nutritional value of their food and efforts to negate option C, the price of essential commodities, cereals, vegetables and fruits, option D. Okay, whether he wants to find out where the error is or not, the query is difference between compromising on and compromising with or on. With proposition difference. Okay, so basically on or with, what's the right thing to use? But does the context have an error as such? Households across the state are either opting for, seems fine, part A, a more modest lifestyle or compromising on the nutritional value of their food in efforts to negate the price of essential commodities, cereals, vegetables and fruits. I think we've looked at this question earlier because I remember doing this question, attempting this question. I think it will be raise and price. Negate the what? So it seems like there is no error. However, let's address the question that this person has, which is difference between compromising on and compromising with, quickly. So you can compromise on something or even someone, right? You can also compromise with something, right? So for example, somebody can make no compromise with time. So I can say, let's use Kamal's name. Kamal made no compromise with time, right? So you're compromising with something here in this context. You can compromise on something. So I can say, I am not compromising on that subject, right? So either ways you can use it. I'm sure you guys understand what compromising is, right? So when you say you're compromising, you're settling for something. You're accepting something that is probably not what you expected, but you're compromising, right? So you can compromise on something or with something, or you can compromise on someone. Yeah, I'm not compromising on food. Exactly. I want what is best because, I'm health conscious or whatever. And like Harita says, you don't have to compromise with certain values, right? This is something that I firmly believe in. So I'm not compromising on this particular quality or on this particular thing. Yeah. So both are correct in different contexts. Okay. She imagined walking into the office, handing in her resignation and turning to a new leaf as a fiction writer. Yeah. She imagined walking into the office. So in this pattern, basically, if you see, right, this part, she imagined walking. That's part 1. Into the office, handing in, it's part 2. Her resignation and turning is part 3. To a new leaf as a fiction writer is part 4, and then no error. So sometimes it comes as it is. But sometimes the options can also be jumbled. For example, in part 1, you can have into the office handling. So be very careful when you're selecting which part has the error. You understand the context, right? She imagined walking into the office. So this person is like maybe, she's not in good terms with the office, or she didn't like her boss or reporting manager, right? So she's visualizing this whole procedure of she'll just go, she'll hand over a resignation and bye-bye, right? So where do you think the error is? Let's look at the first option that most of you are coming back with, which is option 2, right? So some of you are saying remove in here. But hand in is a phrasal verb. To hand in something means what? To give. Right? Phrasal verbs have different meanings in different contexts. So, hand in is a phrasal verb. Right? I'm sure you know what phrasal verbs are. Verb plus preposition or adverb. Right? So, hand verb in preposition, which means to give. So, handing in is fine. It's just in the continuous form, right? Because the earlier verb also is in the continuous form, walking into the office. So, she imagined walking into the office, handing in her resignation and turning to a new leaf. Now, this doesn't make sense, right? She'll turn towards a new leaf. Huh? What is the right expression? If you are familiar with the idiom, what is the idiom? Turn over a new leaf. That's the idiom. Right? Which means what? What does that idiom mean? Turn over a new leaf is a complete idiom. Turn over is again a phrasal verb, but this as an expression is an idiom. What does it mean? That's my question. To change, yes. Right? You're doing something completely new. So you're changing your behavior or pattern, or maybe you are doing something in a particular way and you're changing that completely. Obviously, it's in a positive light. Nothing negative about it. Turning over a new leaf. Like somebody said, you're starting all over again. So in the context, because she is going to give her resignation, she probably has something else in mind which is going to be completely new. She's going to do something else or completely different. Right? So the error is in part 4. You need to change this preposition to over to be in line with the expression, idiom, turning over a new leaf as a fiction writer. So this is what she's going to do. Fiction writer is something that she is going to change or start doing. Yeah? So changing her work, nature of work. Right?